Check out my Twitter.
The worst part is you said gaming name.
If I say stage name, they're going to assume you're a stripper. I feel like that's probably just a little bit more appropriate.
Well, let's get into the action here. Victor is going to push aggressively.
But they will be moving into the anti-eco.
It's getting late, boys.
G3X, pistols in hand, and quite a diverse group of pistols as well. P250s, Tech-9s, and the Deagle, of course. Pretty much standard, though, from what you would expect to see. They're going to try and push out of T-connector mid. And they're having a hard time. Spy Leader's actually lighting them up over towards the IV and as well. Victor and NKL chiming in with kills of their own. Good hold from MK. The 4 Spy from GenerationX just does not prove to be worth much. And this is really a good proving point here for MK Esports. You know, that first game was rough against G3X. It was the first game that they had played in the day. Now they've had a chance to kind of like reset and start over and build things back up to where they have been. And then GenerationX, like, they had that first big game, but then they felt like they kind of spent themselves. They played against the Swedes later, and they just didn't really have anything left in the tank.
And now, of course, we'll see what GenerationX has left. But we've got one more trash round to get through, of course, before we see those big investments. And already they are kind of being shut down on this round. NKL already picking off Steel, and the rest of them are going to try and go for sort of an explosion play. 3 of them moving in from Ivy, but also KNG also being found out there, too. Yeah, pretty early on, they try to stack up a player on top of the computer server, but he's found, and yeah, this is just a textbook shutdown at this point from MK.
Yep, and there's the pistol to finish. They're going to have a lot of that extra cash to work with, and you can see just the impact it has on the round. You know, very limited utility, and that's with them buying down to basically nothing. Just 1 Molotov, 3 smokes actually, it looks like, and just a handful of flashbangs as well. They're going to probably try and work this just a little bit quicker because of that, and that's exactly what they do. Moving out to, towards the A site early, blowing out a T-connector, and that's going to be K. But now what do they do with it? The rest of his players sort of lagging a bit behind, and MCH is tagged up so low. Bubble still holding on to the scout, and if he can just even put a bullet into MCH, who's playing towards the back line with the Deagle, but it doesn't seem to matter. He's actually going to take out the lead man, Cake, silencing his Rampage and giving them the advantage in the round.
Michael not down at 4 HP, but MK also still looking to punish these players here too. GenerationX having a little bit of a flank to work with as KNG looks to tap away, but he's got to be very careful, since if he loses his teammate or isn't really going to be able to support him, then down goes the round. And unfortunately, the worst has happened here. It takes him a minute to find the trade, but he does get it, so.
And GenerationX not really getting any traction in their first buy round, so it's back to the pistols for them, as they seem to be working over towards this B site where they've got Dreamer posted up on the upper box halls, and he's got just a UMP to work with. So if these players blow out around the corner, it could be very hard for him to deal with. And he does have support coming in from Z Connector, but just a little bit too far away, and he peeks just a little too late to stop him as well.
So the rest of them are going to explode downstairs with the Molotov. Again, it's doing so much damage. Bubble and Dreamer already finding those 2 kills because of the result of that one, and Dreamer able to pop back out again. They haven't really gotten a good lockdown as to where he's actually playing from. They finally will know it now, but again, we'll see what exactly GenerationX can do with a full op buy, armor sitting behind it, everything else they would expect.
I mean, so that's the thing, really. Like, in a lot of these rounds, we haven't seen many kills. If we could pull up the scoreboard for just a split second here to take a look at the tally, I mean, look at that. 3 kills for the team in total. That's across 5 rounds. Really rough start for GenerationX. But this is a big buy, and this is a potential swing point for them where they can sort of build up momentum. They've accumulated full loss bonus. We'll see if that's going to be the case here. They do have the op in the hands of KNG. Rest sticking with the rifles. Bubble on the opposite side. He's going to position the op towards upper. Pretty standard approach, but actually a lot of teams more recently putting that opper in the Z connector, allowing him to watch upper from there so that he can rotate towards A in the event that it is a hard push towards the outside site. But it does look like they're stacking up for the B hit as a multitude of players working in towards the box halls, and we may see this op duel on upper as KNG wants to peek around the corner. He jiggle peeks and sees the opper back pretty far. Flashbang to lead his way in. KNG looking for that opening. Oh man, what a shot onto Bubble. Just a small piece of his head showing over top. Dreamer does get a response, but he has to be careful trying to fall out back behind this long line on the tanker train. Still in position though, finds himself another kill as well. And he's managed to silence the players pushing out. Oh my god, Dreamer finding 4 kills. Could we potentially see our second ace in a back-to-back game? KNG, the last man standing, very low on HP. And Dreamer looks like he just wants to stick it. He's trying to bait KNG out of position. The flashbang's just a little bit too high.
Dreamer's got to go for this now. He's not even really going to peek this. Actually, no, he goes right for it, and there you have it. The ace from Dreamer. Using that orange train in the back is basically a dart. It's easy. He's very, very low. So here you get to see it again. This orange train, unfortunately, these players are not peeking this efficiently, and that third kill is definitely the most impressive one. Combos that second kill, and just a quick shutdown of the player peeking from bomb train. They try to find these trades, but it just doesn't work. He's unstoppable in that round.
Well, right now we are on our way to what could be potentially one of our most lopsided matches of the day, as MK Esports stacks up 6 rounds compared to 0 from G3nerationx. They are just not having much luck on train. And MK Esports did get a little bit of a warm-up on this map earlier in the day playing against Panda, but completely different caliber of team. And in general, the entire Brazilian scene has felt very strong on train in the past. Teams like Luminosity and Immortals have picked it and had great success, but naturally you can't apply that stereotype or standard to all teams. And thus far, G3nerationx has felt very flat in their approach, kind of just going for the defaults towards B, and they overextended a lot too in that position. That was kind of interesting. You know, they got that bomb site control, and then they pushed deep into the train yard looking for Dreamer, and that's when he really punished them for it.
And so the G3X guys now are lining up for just a direct push into the A-bomb site. Nothing really fancy about this at all. Just players going for the T-main entry point, as well as dropping down into the ladder room here. They're going to try to brute force their way in. Enough of these sort of fancier executes. Let's just try something basic and see if it works out. Smokes will start to broil in as we see. It's a good setup, but MK have been given no reason not to play as aggressively. They may send a few guys to, you know, hunt for this info early on, but they're actually going to play pretty passively. They're not really resisting it all that much. They're kind of going to let the G3nerationx guys in here. But MKL will resist it first, and it's Spy Leader that picks up the first 2 kills. MKL peeking in the short lane finds a third. Again, the G3nerationx players are finding nothing with these pushes. MKL finding a second. He will finally get traded out by KNG with the off in the back, but now he's alone. However, again, that's not going to stop him. He's up to his second.
And everyone knows just how loud the Brazilian teams can get. We've seen it previously in the day from the side of G3nerationx, getting hyped up, but they just don't have much to be hyped about at this point. Down 7-0. It's another pistol armor buy coming in from them. But we haven't really seen any great successes in those rounds in the past, so not really expecting much here. They do have a smoke and a flash, actually 2 smokes, so it looks like it is just going to be that standard B approach. Smoke down the lower ramp, maybe smoke a little bit deep on upper and flash over for the approach, and it seems like that's what they're setting up for.
Dreamer again, just waiting for the upper push now. There's going to be 2 players moving their way out, tapping away. They're readjusting a moment here, but actually you can't really find these guys when they hop their way downstairs there, doing a lot of tap damage, but the main goal here was to try and stop them from getting onto the site and planting that bomb, which he's kind of failed at here. The nade moves in though again, and is going to find a first kill with these guys, but now they actually have to push forward here and shut down the rest of them, as they're going to be a bit aggressive moving out for kills as well here. Victor's going to have to watch down to his right. Doesn't spot it initially. They're causing a bit of chaos here, 1 for 1, but they regain control as Victor finds a second pickup there against KNG. More moving in here at this point, but Pava holding. First we've heard of him a while. A quick follow-up onto the second. There's a nice little goosher there. Brings it into a 2v2. And Pava's even going to get creative about this, picking up the rifle on the ground, moving in there, trying to spray things down, stops the diffuser, it falls to Bubble. Bubble picks one up. He's going to jump back onto the bomb, but Pava's going to move back in to shut this down. He's got the wrong position to spray, trying to tap it, but he cannot do it with the smoke in play, and the no-scope up close to end it all. Already got the defuse, just adding for style points. Another round for the guys on MK, as they are just dominating the Brazilians.
If you're the side of G3nerationx, that's like the nail in the coffin almost. You're looking at the round, they're like, finally we're getting back into this game. We finally picked up a round, and then body after body is dropped. It comes down to the 1v1, and how many times have we seen that, close range, the bomb is being defused, and they just can't quite line up the shot through the smoke. And unfortunately, it is another round for MK Esports. Poor G3nerationx at this point, even when they get themselves in those close situations, they just can't quite escape the round with the victory. It does look like they seem to favor this B site, and I'm kind of curious as to why. Dreamer's been pretty solid on the hold, and the retakes have been good as well, but the last round did seem to be a bit successful for them. So again, they work in towards B, and they get the bomb down as well.
Michael moving his way up there, catches one of these guys off from MK, and finally we're starting to see more aggression at this point. G3nerationx really needs to kind of add that into the equation here. They're being way too passive about their takes. They'll set up post plants, but they're not really trying to do anything to stop MK from lining up to start them in the first place here. This is being good, and this is well placed from Michael as he moves up there. Pava even picking one up here too. Victor does trade it out, but Victor now alone. He doesn't have a lot of time. He's going to move in and frag out from this point forward. KNG missing that first shot. He's going to wait for more pressure to come from his direction, but he needs to push for this, and again, timer getting way too low here. He still has to worry about that player sitting in the back halls. They're looking to escape here now. It's finally going to be a round for G3nerationx on the board, but definitely not a...
So he keeps the AWP there, the AWP dies. They can't rotate back in time to get the AWP picked up. Meanwhile, he swaps, picks up the AWP for Bubble to throw it to him in the next round, and he even holds and waits for that player to potentially come back and try and find it. We heard a shot sail through the wall just towards the end after they flashed towards the camera. We didn't quite see it, but naturally I don't think he did connect. So G3nerationx kind of getting a little bit lucky there towards the end. I mean, it's a 1v1, but time just expired. So they pick up their first round, but it didn't really go quite as well as they would like. Back towards this B bomb site again, though. The smoke and flash is out. Smoke for upper, flash to follow as well. And there's Dreamer up on top of the Pop Dog train, but he only gets one kill. And it is going to be G3nerationx getting site control again.
Bubble also firing off with the AWP, but not finding anything here. There we go, catching the cross push now. And this is where he went big last time too, is players that were getting over aggressive from the G3nerationx side. They're moving up, and it's just, again, I mean, there's no other words for it besides a shutdown. MK, punish G3nerationx. I talked about them needing to try and get more aggressive. Z, flashbang, the Molotov, whatever you have to do to stop them from rotating, that's going to be the key thing. Or even just getting those kills before you actually get the bomb on the ground.
You know, I'm hearing the noise building. I can actually now hear them through the wall. That was a great round for MK Esports to sort of kind of reset G3nerationx to a certain degree. You can see they still have a buy coming in, but it's a very lopsided one. The AWP, Tech9s, Galil's as well, rounding things out. I'm happy to see them at least not going straight towards the B site, which has been what they've been doing round and round again. And you know, the bigger problem on that B site is they get that bomb down, they just continue to push on through the train yard, even pushing smokes as well right into trap setups from the CT side. This time, it looks like they want to work outside to a certain degree, and they do get that early kill onto NKL, but Bubble is waiting for the AWP of KNG. He almost peeked. Looked like he wanted to go for it, but decides to just stay back just a little while longer and hold that line of sight towards the train stop.
So again, G3nerationx now looking very, very hesitant to change this out to an outer hit, since at the very least when they've been going inner, they've been getting plants. Now the 1-for-1 has started off, and oof, Bubble unscopes probably the worst possible time. Michael also finding a kill up top there, shuts out Spy Leader, and unfortunately for Bubble, he can't find anything. This is going great this time. G3nerationx basically already have the round in their hands. It's all about hunting down Dreamer at this point.
So I mean, at the very least, all those inner bomb site hits have caused MK to sort of adapt their defense towards the B site, and as a result, the players on A have gotten a little bit more lax, not expecting players to be in positions that they're in this very situation. So G3nerationx picking up their second round. Dreamer now just setting himself up for exit frags. Really, right now, G3nerationx has to fight back against the economy that's been building for the CT side, because it has been pretty solid rounds. I mean, there was one or two where they dropped down pretty low in players, but for the most part, this has been a very strong performance for the Bulgarian side. But this could be G3X's way back into the game. I mean, they're just a few rounds away from having a solid half. I mean, if they close this thing out 9-6, all of a sudden you forget it.
They can pull 9-6. It's still a very respectable half, but also needing to win out, which might be a bit of a tall task to ask of them, considering how dominant MK have looked. Also, again, trying to line themselves up with a big push heading into the back area over here towards the box halls, but still having roots of a default play into the outer bomb site after a few seconds passes by. Victor, though, with his push, they are able to get this kill, gets them off guard, but they walk right into Cake and Pava. They knew exactly what's happening there, and they punished that perfectly.
The 1-2 punch, the wombo combo, both players sitting towards the top of stairs. Do throw the AWP into the hands of Bubble, but it's not exactly the greatest buy for the rest of the team. Very light on utility, which is a big deal on a map like Train. Not able to delay those pushes. The lack of incendiaries going to cause G3X to get a little bit of early map control, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody from MK Esports maybe get a little bit aggressive, try and take a fight early. But look at this. You know, G3nerationx realizes that they've got MK on the back foot, so they just go fast towards that inner site. They don't smoke or flash, they just run right in. And that's actually the perfect call given the situation.
Now we'll see how exactly MK will look to forge their way back into the site. Spy Leader already trying to sneak his way around ZT, taking a very safe route about this. G3nerationx, some smoke's actually kind of helping Spy Leader to push forward, as we can see now. But it is also going to restrict him to the short lane as he moves up, trying to shut down that first player, but he can't do it. Walks right into the crosshairs of Pava. Victor does catch a trade, but again, 2-on-3. Victor's kind of even stuck in that alleyway there, and he's taken out by Cake when he tries to retreat back through. So NKL knows what's up. He knows he needs to save this gun, so it's time to really back away and let G3nerationx find their 5th round.
NKL with the FAMAS. Just trying to find something, but he's going to try and escape, get himself that up, and he is going to be able to get away. He had a player waiting for him on the backside. Next, scoreline moving into the final round of the first half after what was basically just a dominant affair from MK Esports. The Brazilians have bounced back, and they've actually put themselves in a situation where 9-6 is possible given the buy coming in from the CT side. 4 FAMAS in play, a 1-off.
He'll look to try and take down some of the members of G3nerationx in T-Con. I also want to check that left side, though. So Steel actually sneaking out. Cannot find the headshot, though, so Victor wins it. But just barely surviving that with 6 HP. It may be looking like now we have MK at a good position to go 10-5. But MK, are they also going to realize the sudden change-up, possibly from G3nerationx? And they can pull this bomb away from T-Con and just send it back through the halls.
Only one kit in the hands of MK2 and one flash as well. So if the bomb does go down, it will be hard for them to work for the retake. That first flashbang is on point. NKL actually does tremendous amount of damage deep into that spray. He still managed to drop Cake down to 14 HP. Bubble has to come up huge here from Connector. Oh, just as the smoke blooms, peeks out wide, takes down Pava. But there is MCH to respond, and it's down to a 2-on-2. But do they realize that Dreamer has already worked his way back around Old Bomb towards Ivy as they try and continue this fight towards the A site? They're running low on clock time here. 35 seconds left. They really need to make a move.
It is a bit curious as what some of these guys were doing so overexposed, though. Victor, notably, on top of that bomb train with only like 15, 10 HP around there, just kind of gives himself away. This could have been much better odds for MK, but now they're still working in an even scenario. Bubble, though, does expect this fight to come in from Cake. That's a single tap from his USP is all that is needed. Now it all falls into the hands of Michael. And also the problem is he's being challenged right from the room. But, however, Dreamer is kind of just given to Michael. Michael trying to close this one out, and again, bringing him down very low. It's a tap away, but Bubble is over.
And they only got picked up by Orbit for a short period of time. Seems to be a problem with Orbit in general. Teams don't last very long. Won't really comment on that one. As the pistol round is beginning, and it is going to be G3X trying to defend this B site, but MK's already got full control, and they are just blowing through the CT side.
Steel and KG are going to be the few that are left over here, but Steel actually sniping away. It's one of them. KNG is also going to be pushing in to regroup with Steel here. But having trouble finding those kills. In fact, most of it is coming down to Steel right now, who's impacting quite well. Being spiked off on that player on the side, catches them off guard a bit here. Finally, Steel will fall for KNG. He's not going to be able to pick up anything at all.
This pistol round would be that much more devastating for the Brazilians. But there will be opportunities to bounce back from it, and they're going to start right here with the pistol armor by CZ 75 armor on Cake, Pava, and Steel. MCH going with the Deagle, and then KNG. Pistol, armorless, no surprise there. The Opera, and he basically gets just chewed apart immediately. Rushing towards T-Connector. A second one to fall as well. That's by way of MCH's Deagle, taking Victor out of the round. But they still have full control of the outer yard. Steel, though, playing towards the sandwich. They don't even see him, and all of a sudden this round is tilting back towards the Brazilian side, as they've got 3 players and a rifle as well. Steel just sticks with the CZ. NKL, he does have the bomb, and he's got Z connector, so he can bring that bomb back towards B. But it seems like potentially GenerationX is realizing that he could be moving that bomb towards that area, as I believe Cake has already ran up the ladder and is going downstairs towards that B bomb site.
NKL retreating back over here towards the B site here, and again, not really going to be able to catch them as quickly, but they want to make sure that they secure this round as fast as possible. But however, NKL is not necessarily going to make things easy. He wraps it back. He's been waiting for this player to move into the flank. Now the smart thing to do is going to be to let them get up close to the bomb first, but no, he still even has time to fall back here too, but at 13 HP, he's got to be cautious about it. It's not even really planned in the perfect position, so I think Michael's even going to move in for the kill. NKL will be closer on the corner to challenge it, but he backs up now. Looks like a complete wrong way for that one, and it will give Michael the time to end it. No kit for him, and actually, because of that one, I thought there would have been one on the ground nearby, but no, there's not. So that time he wasted going up top to end it is actually going to hand over the round to MK. Nicely clutched out by NKL, and it keeps the lead going for these guys.
They allowed NKL to really win that situation by, not really working as a team and isolating all of your players in that situation. You basically gave the round to MK. So it's unfortunate. I mean, it was a pistol round from GenerationX, but it was so strong leading up into that point. But the Bulgarians continue on with the buy round as the Brazilians look a little bit frustrated.
MK is just going to go for an inner hit again. They know it's weak. They know it's kind of primed for exploitation. So they're going to move right in there once more. Try to shut it down. There's only Steel here at the moment with his teammate. Moore will be rotating pretty quickly, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to stop them on a trash round like this one. And very minimal investment so far, 3 kills to none. Also losing an AK there too, as you can see from the GenerationX side. It's picked up by Pava. But these last 2 are still going to have to try and find a way to survive.
Pava does manage to get himself up in towards heaven. KNG coming in on the flank. Good damage dealt early on to Victor. 2 HP left on him. He's actually going to be able to get out of there as well and head back towards upper B. Hopefully he doesn't jump off and take too much damage in the fall. KNG, though, can't stick around. He's tagged up as well. Pava's just looking to hold on to this AK, and he's in a pretty good spot where maybe KNG can bait some players into him, as they look like they might be running through Z connector, but everyone pretty much stacking up towards CT spawn. So no opportunities here for Pava to strike. Not going to be able to do any damage with that salvaged AK-47, but at the very least he can take it into the neck.
And taking it for their own country.
I mean, this really is the battle of the countries here. It's Bulgaria versus Brasilia, the battle of the bees. As the Europeans really want to make up for that first loss of the day. They probably felt like they deserved that win. Instead, they've had to fight just a little bit longer than they would have liked to. And there you go, some aggression from the Brazilians.
NKL
Not going to work out.
like a champ, though. It's way too slow in the follow-up from Steel, so he can't find the trade. NKL's given way too much time to even pull out his gun. So he is going to be able to catch up to that one, see what is going on, take down Steel. And that only makes the outer defenses that much weaker, as MK are going to go for probably a default execute, although this upper push, again, we saw this in the pistol round too. They find Cake that is sitting out there, and they're even looking for this hunt onto the kill. They'll take down Michael firmly on the outer side here, looking to punish these guys. So I think they kind of got used to this one. He's going to get hit. I think that was
team damage. KNG shot him in the back. That's unfortunate. And in fact, now KNG goes down because he's the first one to make noise. So Pava does end up getting a kill anyway, but obviously if he had had a little bit more HP, he might have been able to finish that kill off on Bubble. So that is absolutely unfortunate. Bomb is going to go down, and
more than likely MK are going to have this round pretty quickly too. As G3nerationx go for initially a big A stack, they're going to rotate 2 more in, but we've already seen quite a few eco rounds from the G3nerationx side where they haven't really been able to impact. Bubble even knows there's pressure coming in his way. He can spot their shadow from a mile away. So he's going to take down Steel. He'll even just pull out of here too. Waits for a repeat. This one's a little bit more direct, so he actually is in a bit of trouble here versus KNG if he sticks around. But he's smart about it, and once more, he'll fall away.
something to consider too in regards to like Bulgarians, like the Bulgarian side getting really like loud and excited. This is something the Brazilians are known for, and it drives some teams insane when they play them on land. Like there's so much noise, there's so much excitement that when they start taking rounds, they want to counter it. And I think to a certain degree that's what we're seeing, because we haven't really seen this level of energy from them all day. And it seems to be working out for them. Obviously, it's hyping them up quite a bit as they've been shutting down G3nerationx time and time again, and they're doing so here as well. The pistol round for the Brazilians not really working out so well. G3nerationx continue to take these long-range duels with the Deagles, but they're just not producing much. Down goes Cake, and it's just Pava coming in on the flank with the Deagle in hand. He's got one waiting for him right on the opposite side. He tries to fly in and actually somehow gets the kill onto Victor. And he's like, well, I got myself an AK. A mission accomplished to a certain degree. Now it's time to try and take a few more players with me.
We'll see if he can actually save it, but he's also got a player flanking around him too, sitting in the kitchen right now, as you can see on NKL. So he may be able to put it in. So he's got to do so quickly, though, as he's actually taking out quite a few of his teammates. Wrapping around the corner, though.
Very strong team on train. The one thing you can say at this is if MK do make it out of this, not many teams are going to let them play train against them. And that's been the map they've been very strong on throughout the tournament. So
MK looking to prime for an outer execute. KNG completely misses that player. Bubble getting himself up on the upper train, wasn't even paying attention to it when he went up the ladder. So him, Victor, and Dreamer all find kills. The round is over, and that is the worst situation that G3nerationx could have asked for. Is that within the first 20 seconds of just the round starting, that they are completely destroyed. And to add insult to injury here, Spy Leader is waiting for them at the back B halls, and it's just going to decimate.
Got to try and stop it from ending. Double FAMAS, double M4, and a UMP to boot, and very limited nades as well.
So for G3nerationx, their last chance to really find their way back into this game, and unfortunately, I don't have much hope. We'll have to see what they can do. They're going to try something a little bit crazy here too. As you can see, it looks like they may just try to push up here when they go for their inner execute, which might not even be the case here. I think these two guys in the back halls are just looking to make noise, but they may have no choice if they end up getting encouraged upon back over here by the T ramp room. Steel tries to push up, but they're waiting for them here. We just see Victor moving in. It punishes things, and actually, again, that's going to open up the B-bomb site. Michael is the other player that's here, but he's sitting way back in Z.
So they have the advantage, and they're moving towards a potential closeout here. G3nerationx trying to do what they can. Steel dropped down pretty low in HP, 49 HP there. Still 3 rifles on the field though for the Brazilian side. Looks like MK is stacking up for an inner hit. And there's only one man in this area, but Pava is so close to the ladder. He's ready for an immediate retake. He's got one more with him as well, so they could go for the fast flank if this push does come through. But MCH has to find at least one kill on the push, maybe even a second to try and make it possible. And that flashbang is going to make things that much harder for him. He's just playing kind of in open territory, and as a result, it's only going to be one for him. There's Pava on the quick flank, but there's no one watching in the positions he's peeking towards. Steel tries to come in from Z connector. Down he goes. Just 2 players left alive here for G3X, and a bit of team damage dealt as well. And now it's all onto Pava, the veteran player, one of the oldest players we have at the tournament. Can he make it happen?
No, definitely
Unfortunately not. So
MK will close out our final match of the day, earning the final slot in the semifinals for tomorrow, closing out Group B. It's been an interesting journey here for the Generation X players, but again, it was not meant to be. They'll be going home here one step short of getting themselves into tomorrow's playoffs.
I mean, if you're a Generation X, honestly, you can't be disappointed. You played against a proven team who's been around for a long time.